Hey guys, Nishquick here. Today, I'm going to talk about how I sort of got into the JRPG series. That's with one game in particular. Hold on a second. Let me find it. Right here, this game, Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS. So yeah, let's talk about this game and what it means to me as a fan of this genre and this series. So yeah, let's go. So, like, I think about a month or so ago, I made a video on why Ocarina of Time is so special to me, and how that was kind of, I was reminded of that when Tears of the Kingdom was announced in mid-September. So, in that same direct, we got fireemblemengage. Very interesting and true to form Fire Emblem game. Three Houses came out about 3 or so years ago, and I really enjoyed that game. It was a very unique approach to the Fire Emblem formula. You still have tactical battles, which are turn-based, but it's sort of like chess in a way. I always equated Fire Emblem to chess because of how you move your units around, and you have to strategize, and you have to use tactics to properly defeat your enemy, or not just defeat your enemies, but achieve whatever you want to achieve in that map. Whether it's defeating the commander, reaching a specific location, rescuing someone, finding someone, recruiting them on your team, or just wiping out all the enemies on the field. Three Houses was fun, but I, like many people, sort of wished, hey, I wish the next Fire Emblem game kind of like goes back to the norms. Sort of like this game. And let me talk about this game right now. Basically, I was 14 years old when I got this game. I was a freshman in high school, and I played the demo on 3DS because I knew Fire Emblem. I knew Marth, I knew Ike, I knew they were from Fire Emblem. And then I was like, Fire Emblem on the 3DS? Wow, I never like heard of like a new Fire Emblem in ages, because before that it was Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, and I think the Shadow Dragon remakes, which all those games just didn't do well popularity sales-wise, just unfortunately. But Awakening, I didn't know it was like their last hurrah. I didn't know. I just thought, no, they're just putting out another 3DS game. And I played the demo, I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed the characters. Chrom, Lissa, Robin, Frederick. Those are the only ones I really got to interact with in the demo. But then the semester ended. School year ended, like that spring semester of high school. And usually, like, near the end of like the school year, for like accomplishing the school year, I guess, my parents would get me like a new game. So I said, hey, just get me that new Fire Emblem game. It looks cool. On a chance, I just told them, get me Fire Emblem, I want to give it a shot. And I played it, and I was so bad at it. I didn't know what I was doing. I got to that one map where you're fighting on a tree, and like it's like this massive tree, and you're fighting on it and whatever, right? And I had not reclassed any of my characters. I had not done anything to just kind of progress. I was just taking it step by step. Once I hit level 20, I was like, why am I stuck at level 20? What's going on? I didn't know how to play this game. I was not familiar with the series. I didn't understand anything at all. But I eventually started a new game, and the next year I went on a vacation with some of my family, and one of my cousins was like, hey, you got Fire Emblem? I'll help you out. So we played a lot of that during our road trips. We were driving a lot during that vacation, so I was playing Fire Emblem quite a bit on that road trip. And that's when I realized reclassing, skills, passing down skills, pairing up, marrying your teammates, recruiting the child units and passing those skills down. That's when I realized, I was like, there's so much to this game I didn't realize. I didn't know. And I love Fire Emblem Awakening because of that. This was my first experience with micromanaging characters, making sure they are built in the specific way I want them to be built in terms of classes, weapons, skills, strength, stats, all of that. And I just loved it. I was like, wow, which other games do this? And then I looked back in my mind and I realized Pokemon did this. Pokemon, like, is that kind of JRPG. But I always say Fire Emblem Awakening is my true first JRPG. Even though Pokemon is a JRPG, I consider Fire Emblem my first because it just put me in that world of fantasy with knights and soldiers and mages and clerics and knights on horses, the cavaliers, the Pegasus Knights, all of that. It just gave me that idea of what a fantasy RPG game could be. And I really respect it because of that. In all honesty, Pokemon was my first JRPG, but in my heart, Fire Emblem Awakening was the first. And now I just want to like talk a little bit about more stuff on this game. Might go into a little bit of spoiler territory, so if you care about that, here's your little bit of warning. I feel like I wouldn't say the narrative on this game has changed drastically, but I feel like it sort of has. Because I go back and I ask people, hey, what'd you think of Awakening? Or like I look at the online discourse, everyone's like, Awakening's story was bad. Awakening had boring characters, boring story, predictable story, all that. Looking back at it, I kinda agree. The characters are tropey, the story is simple, but again, I equate this to like one of my JRPG firsts, because with JRPGs, I don't only consider them to be heavily combat-based or heavily character customizable games, you know what I mean, but I also see them as games with very enriching, very impactful, powerful, moving stories. And even though the story is like, it's simple, but it really hit me as like a story where the characters just go on a very moving, powerful journey. I'm gonna share some memories I have with the game, some specific story moments that really hit me. Of course, you got that first arc with the Mad King Gangrel, and you just hate this guy, you hate him so much, and he's like, I want to take this Fire Emblem for myself. Very, very bland, simple villain. You always got the Mad King arc, you got him in Game of Thrones, you got him in some other game, you got him in Fire Emblem, he's all over the place. But, it's really powerful because of the sacrifice of the Exalt Emerin, who is the sister of Chrom and Lissa. Just seeing that sacrifice was very powerful. It was just a very moving part in the story. And of course, the chapter after that, you're running away, Chrom is just speechless. He is like distraught at what he just saw. His sister just sacrificed himself for the safety of the kingdom. And Gangrel soldiers are ordered to like come out and just like snuff you out and just put an end to the Elysian army. And the commander himself is very hesitant on what to do, and he's like, I kind of understand what's going on with this guy, and I don't really think it's the right thing to do. That was a very moving part in the story. Of course, the reveal that Lucina is Chrom's daughter from the future, very impactful, very great moment there. And I just loved a lot of the support conversations, because these characters, again, tropey at times, but you just see them open up to each other, especially in the S supports. It's really heartwarming and moving to see a lot of these characters put aside their differences and just come together as the Shepherd's Garrison, teammates, allies, and friends, and sometimes more than friends. So I really love that and respect that with this game. One last thing I want to talk about, music is off the charts amazing. I'm gonna say this right now. Here are some of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time. Skyward Sword, Xenoblade 2, Persona 5, Kingdom Hearts 2, and Fire Emblem Awakening gets in the top 5. I like the soundtrack better than Three Houses, better than Fire Emblem 7, better than Shadows of Valentia. So, like, all of these Fire Emblem games, I think Awakening has the best soundtrack, in my humble, honest opinion. And it's not just because it's nostalgic, but it just fits the vibe. It fits the vibe of what's happening. It's got a very impactful, militaristic, yet fantasy vibe to it. Some of the songs honestly remind me of John Williams scores from Harry Potter. Like, I might be playing some here in the background. Just some of them just give me Harry Potter vibes, and that's really cool. Some of them are very bombastic and triumphant and heroic songs, and those are great too. But I love how there is leitmotifs again in this game, like Xenoblade 2. Leitmotifs are done, and they're done so well. There's a song called Id, just Id. And there's Id Purpose, Id Sorrow, Id Hope, Id... so many of them. And it's that same... It's like the theme of Fire Emblem Awakening, but it's done in so many different ways. Such a great soundtrack. I love it. I love it so much. It's very, very impactful, moving, amazing. Makes you feel so many different kinds of emotions. That's what I love about music in games, especially JRPGs. So yeah, that's a little bit about my history with Fire Emblem Awakening, why I love it so much. It made me a Fire Emblem fan. Right after I played this game, I played FE7, The Blazing Sword, the first ever Fire Emblem game to come to the US. Enjoyed that. Then I played Three Houses, and then I played Shadows of Valentia. And all great games. Love them. Yeah, great series. It's maybe not the most approachable series. It's got a bit of a learning curve, but it's fun. It's great. If you like games in a medieval fantasy setting with military and political intrigue to them in their narratives, with awesome characters, gripping narratives, amazing music, and really, really cool combat mechanics, and just tactical gameplay, Fire Emblem's your kind of game. And yeah, comment down below. Have you tried Fire Emblem? Are you excited for Fire Emblem Engage? I hope you guys give this series a shot, and if you guys have a Switch, get Fire Emblem Engage this January. Alright, this is Nishquik signing off. Have a great day. Later.